Happy Hump Day, Hive. Today is Wednesday, July 9th, 2025. The theme is always on the screen. If you're just tuning in and you're new to the Hive, welcome. I go live every weeknight at 7 p.m. I have various guests on throughout the week. Tonight is Sammy T. And we're going to be talking tonight about an overarching challenge that, quote unquote, we the people, but I'm not just talking about America. I'm talking about as humans we are facing right now. And it's that nobody knows where to look for the truth. Some people feel that source A gives it to you, while others feel that source B gives it to you. Everybody's divided. You're on this team, and you can't believe anything that team says. It's not just with politics. It's not just with race. It's not just with whatever you want to say. It's the truth that I think divides a lot of people. What is the truth about this situation? Who's spinning a narrative to benefit themselves and what they believe in? So the goal for tonight, not only is it going to relate to the Idaho 4, but it's just going to relate to how we have to be able to see through headlines. We have to be able to see through the narrative. This group and this Hive is obviously a group that does that, or we try to at least. But I think it's important to call out also some other current events that are going on. So with that being said, I'm going to bring up our girl, Sammy T. What's going on, dude? Sammy, I have to ask you something. Somebody just said, Sammy, I'm so glad to see you're not AI. What does that mean?
On TikTok, when I was posting Jeffrey Epstein content, I got my videos banned and 2 copyright strikes because they said I'm artificial intelligence and synthetic, not real. And they don't approve of that on their platform. So apparently I resemble AI of some kind, which is a bunch of BS because it just so happened to be on, a trafficker to oligarchs of a pedo ring, but might have something to do with that more so than me being AI.
Have you ever actually experienced cognitive dissonance?
Personally?
Yeah, because I've only ever had it one time in my life that I feel like that is the only thing that I could ever describe it as.
I think maybe in relationships, like probably, but
I've
maybe
had it.
unhealthy toxic relationships I've had cognitive dissonance, but other than that, I'm not. Maybe one, you know what? Probably after 9/11.
See, that's kind of where I was going with, like, it has to be such a shock event where
Yeah.
something comes over you and you're like, am I in the same world? And not to like down the mood, but so my father had passed mid-afternoon. My best friend and college roommate, this is a handful of years ago, he
Ooh.
calls me early in the morning. I have goosebumps saying this. His dad died of a heart attack within 24 hours
Oh
of
my
my father. And they would
God.
go to like our college football games together. It was the trippiest shit I've ever experienced in my life, where I'm just like, wait, what? We both transferred to that school. We were both the same age.
Oh
We
my
were like,
God.
both played football. We both had dads. They both hung out with each other, and they both died within 24 hours. It's so insane. That was the only time where I'm like, I don't even know, like, what is life actually? Like, what is going on?
I think it's too like the cognitive dissonance of when something so traumatic happens and you're so profoundly lost or confused or don't know where to turn. Or I just remember this like overwhelming feeling after 9/11. I was 15. I was a sophomore, just going to bed in absolute agony because I was like, wait, what's going to happen? It was the first time I went to bed thinking about like, are we going to be bombed? Like, no idea. Right. And I kind of felt this cognitive dissonance because then I realized like that shaped my worldview for so many years because I just bought into whatever was told to me was right.
Yep.
Because we were wronged. So whoever wronged us, we must be right. They must be wrong. Not realizing there's this larger stuff going on. And, I try not to do that, obviously, because I was just a kid.
And I think you have some really good video clips lined up. So
Yeah.
what I'm going to do is go to this next slide for the Hive Mind Find, just because it is the song. I only did that one for tonight, but Phoenix. Oh, shout out
Hi,
to
Phoenix.
my War Eagle. Just kidding. I'll say Roll Tide for that one, CJ.
I wonder,
Thank you.
Phoenix, have you ever been called AI and taken down yet? It's really fun.
Well, she was just saying, the reason why I just said her name is there was a comment that she left that's saying that like somebody found Ethan and somebody found Kaylee.
I'm sorry.
I
What?
know.
I
That's
should have
what I just
vaped
said
after
too.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. You're like, have you ever seen
I
like when people
saved
like
my nicotine for the wrong sentiment.
I just want to give a shout out to McSparky. I believe that's his artist name, but thank you. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
think, like I said, that's like one of like the nicest and just awesomest things, or most awesome things.
And
that
it's like quality. It doesn't
it's
sound
incredible.
I mean, if you had to take if somebody made some sort of sentiment or song about you, that sounds like it was recorded in a, state of the art studio. It's amazing. It's amazing.
It's amazing. And so if you missed it in the intro, here it is, everybody. I put the lyrics here. Obviously, it's going to be kind of covered by the chat, but even the lyrics are just unbelievable. So great work, McSparky.
I
and
listened
thank
to
you
them all.
again.
They're amazing.
Yes, hell yeah.
Turn on your mind now, tune into the feed. We're planting digital flowers from a single
Oops, sorry, chat.
now, tune into the feed. We're planting digital flowers from a single tiny seed. Yeah, power to the collective in the data and the soul. The hive mind's getting louder, finding voice in control. Yeah, trying to find the right path sometimes is a struggle. A jigsaw in the dark, missing pieces, unknown puzzle. Blurry, fuzzy pictures as the mind becomes clear. Fairy tale of a wolf, a boy crying, a near fear. Scribbling numbers, writing notes secluded you find. The hope being one day sharing them with the hive mind. Swapping and dropping the blue and swallowing the red pill. NPCs all around, distorted reality is how you still feel. Should you risk going alone down that rabbit hole, or ask the hive mind, see what else your big brother stole? Collective consciousness helps uncover any clue. Powerful ideas shared amongst the whole crew. And the best thing about it, transaction cost is free. Plop just a drop of water, more splash in a tsunami. Your mind now, tune into the feed. We're planting digital flowers from a single tiny seed. Yeah, power to the collective in the data and the soul. The hive mind's getting louder, finding voice in control. That single ripple echoes, a signal in the sea. Unlocking every deadbolt, we forge a master key. They built the maze to break us, to keep us all apart. But every node connected is a brand new place to start. So dump your data stream here, your theories and your doubt. Let the pattern sniffers work, the hidden logic out. From a million different angles, we analyze the code. Lighten up the burden and we share the heavy load. The picture gets clearer, the static starts to fade. A brand new foundation by the collective has been laid. On your mind now, tune into the feed. We're planting digital flowers from a single tiny seed. Yeah, power to the collective in the data and the soul. The hive mind's getting louder, finding voice in control. The picture gets clearer, the static starts to fade. A brand new foundation by the collective has been laid. So let them call you crazy with your tinfoil hat. It's a necessary filter for the mindless chit-chat. They broadcast their agenda, selling lie after lie, while drawing strange new patterns in a crisscross sky. But that hat ain't for hiding, it's an antenna now you see. Tuned into the frequency of the minds that want to be free. The frantic search for answers you once did all alone is now a data packet uploaded from your phone. So polish up your helmet, there's no need to ever doubt. We're the ones who see the signal when the rest have tuned it out. On your mind now, tune into the feed. We're planting digital flowers from a single tiny seed. Yeah, power to the collective in the data and the soul. The hive mind's getting louder, finding voice in control.
God, is that good?
Oh. That is an awesome song.
Jeffrey Epstein is becoming this perfect example about how our reality is just being shaped for us.
Yes.
I feel like we're in a video game. Do you feel like we're in a video game? and we're maybe losing. And now, as we're starting to realize this matrix, it's glitching in front of us. And the people who created it are basically saying, ha ha, nana boo boo, you can't do anything. They don't.
Yep. And then here's
Yep.
here's
And I
another
want you to know
good
something
one.
else. They're laughing at you. They are laughing at you. So whether you're a Democrat, whether you're a Republican, whether you're independent, you are the end of a ha-ha joke. And that's how it felt, by the way, when yesterday when we were discussing all of these things, we were discussing this sort of onion of deception, all of these layers that are happening.
There's been so many situations.
This applies to so much. It applies to the Idaho fort. It applies to our foreign policy. It applies to our politics. It applies to any state you live in, any reality that's been created that we are living amongst. And thank God for the Hive. But it just feels like we're being laughed in our faces. Like that entire plea deal felt like that ha ha ha, nana nana boo boo. Like that's how it felt, in my opinion. The sterileness of it.
And they clearly
Diddy,
have us.
Great point, woman, power 101.
Diddy, and I think back to COVID, not the virus aspect of it. Think of the media and the power they held over every single person in the world was walking 3 feet apart or 6 feet apart in the same direction down grocery aisles. We're cooked. We're cooked.
And we believe that.
Yeah.
I had the same rationale when that was happening. But you know what? Candace is right. Look at the history of this case that has brought the Hive together, that has brought us together. Think of how many Jacks they threw in there. Jack D, Jack S, Jack, Maddie's boyfriend, Jack in the Box, and tried to mind fuck us.
And then they threw Queen Road in there on top of that.
And it's actually not King Road.
Or it's King Road.
Same initials, Brent Kopacka, Brian Koberger, BK.
Have you seen that whole thing about how so many people that are famous and on TV, their last name ends in like AN?
Conspiracy theory drop. Conan, Letterman, Carson, Fallon, Ferguson, Corden.
Oh yeah,
Taylor Tomlinson, Conan O'Brien. Huh? Fuck it. Joe Rogan. Mark Maron. You want to do the news? Don Lemon. Tucker Carlson. Wake up.
See, that's the type of videos that now I have to go down that rabbit hole. I can't watch that and let it go. I have to send it to my friends. I have to look like a maniac. And they're going to be like, oh, yeah, whatever. But I'm like, what are the odds of that? Now somebody just put in the Hive the Abe Lincoln and the JFK similarities. Have you ever seen those?
Who are often considered some of the best to ever assume that position. Both men's presidential terms were tragically cut short by assassins, but the odd circumstances and similarities surrounding both assassinations should be noted. Here are the uncanny similarities between Abraham Lincoln and John F. Kennedy's assassinations. Abraham Lincoln was shot in the back of the head on April 14, 1865 by John Wilkes Booth. This happened while he was attending a play in Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C. John F. Kennedy was shot in the head with a sniper by Lee Harvey Oswald while taking part in a motorcade in Dallas, Texas on November 22, 1963. Both men died within 24 hours of being shot, and power went to their vice presidents. That leads us into our first similarity. When Lincoln died, his vice president, Andrew Johnson, took power. And when Kennedy died, his vice president, Lyndon B. Johnson, took power.
Scumbag.
Both of these men's last names were Johnson. Both were Southerners, and Andrew Johnson was born in 1808, and Lyndon B. Johnson was born in 1908. This similarity is pretty mild, but it only gets weirder from here. Abraham Lincoln was elected into Congress in 1846 and elected president in 1860. John F. Kennedy was elected into Congress in 1946 and elected president in 1960. Both Lincoln and Kennedy had a son who died while they were in the White House. Abraham Lincoln's son, William, died of typhoid in 1862 at the age of 11. John F. Kennedy's son, Patrick, died just 2 days after being born. Both Lincoln and Kennedy's wives were present at the time of their assassination. Speaking of their wives, both Lincoln and Kennedy married their wife while she was 24 and they were in their 30s. Now let's look at the two assassins, Booth and Oswald. John Wilkes Booth was born in 1839 and went by 3 names with a total of 15 letters. Lee Harvey Oswald was born in 1939 and went by 3 names with a total of 15 letters as well. Both Booth and Oswald were from the South. Both Lincoln and Kennedy were very passionate about civil rights, with Lincoln passing the Emancipation Proclamation outlawing slavery, and Kennedy proposing the Civil Rights Act of 1864. He would be killed before he could pass the bill, but LBJ passed it for him. Booth shot Lincoln in a theater and temporarily hid out in a warehouse. He was later captured in a barn. And Oswald shot Kennedy from a warehouse and was later captured in a theater. Lincoln was the runner-up in the Republican vice presidential election in 1856, and Kennedy was the runner-up in the Democratic vice presidential election in 1956. Both Lincoln and Kennedy were shot in the head on a Friday, but perhaps the craziest similarity is that Lincoln allegedly had a secretary with the last name Kennedy who warned him not to go to Ford's Theater on the night of his assassination. Kennedy's assistant, Evelyn Lincoln, warned him not to go to Dallas. Now, it is completely proven that Evelyn Lincoln was a real person who warned Kennedy not to go to Dallas, but the secretary of Lincoln named Kennedy is not proven. Both Lincoln and Kennedy's assassins were shot before they could be tried and questioned. How handy for the CIA. Booth was shot by a Union soldier 12 days after the assassination in a barn, and Oswald was shot by Jack Ruby 2 days after he assassinated Kennedy while being escorted out of the Dallas police station. Lincoln and Kennedy also both have 7 letters. And finally, Kennedy was shot in a Lincoln brand car.
Yeah.
This gives a whole new meaning to history repeating itself. Are these recycled stories that they're giving us?
This clip, Sammy, you sent me, I think it sums it up really good.
Oh, yeah.
Said on camera, we have a client list.
On the White House lawn.
I've seen the client list.
Yes.
And then yesterday, she's saying there's no client list.
There's no client list. And there was no systematic blackmail. That actually might be the most preposterous line in the document.
The whole thing that this tape shows that he didn't kill himself is like a joke. But worse than that, it's a joke that we all get. Like, they're not fooling anybody. So I feel like we're at a dangerous point now.
Yeah, I agree, because the lie is more it's not, the lie at this point is not even part of trying to convince any of this is true.
Yes.
The lie is a signal to everybody else involved in the scheme that to the ultimate ends, the United States government will go to protect all of you.
Yes.
And that's the for
Man,
what
is that smart.
purpose?
Can you say that again? Okay,
Yes.
so I'm sorry, it's a signal.
The lie is not for you and me. The lie is for those implicated to say, no matter what, we will protect you. And then we have to start asking the question, why? As in, what is the purpose?
He is so right
What
there.
is the
The lies
purpose?
are becoming increasingly more audacious. It's almost like they are mocking us. They're laughing at us.
He said it perfectly. It's the lie is not for us. The lie is the signal to those you're protected. And
It's the
damn,
wink and a nod.
that is such a good way to put it, because what would you say is on the level of this Epstein circus? I mean, I would put weapons of mass destruction up there. I think you could put COVID up there.
The weapons of mass destruction, we are finding out, and we could see the pattern through time. Like, we had to have a civil war, even though the British paid out for the slaves, and they didn't have to do that. We had to do that,
Yeah.
right?
JFK
We
is another
have
one.
we have to
Mhm.
have the Vietnam War because we have to defeat communism, right?
The
We
moon landing.
have-
The moon
right.
landing.
So it's
the-
like we have to do these things. So the Defense Department, those lies to me are different than the Epstein lie. The Epstein lie is a long-standing, lasting intelligence department lie.
God.
And like this Lincoln and Kennedy thing, I feel like, how long has the CIA really existed? On paper, it's only existed for X amount of time. But that's not really true, because there's, I believe, like, forms of it that just weren't
Secret.
named on paper.
I don't know how many NFL fans we have in here, but like, I am partially convinced that in order to get more females to watch the NFL, they had Taylor Swift start dating Travis Kelce on the
Yep.
best Chiefs team. And I just, that's one
Okay. Can I say something? And I'm going to predict this now.
that.
Josh Allen got married to pop star Haley Steinfeld, who just got 100% in Rotten Tomatoes, best movie of the year, Sinners, right now with Michael B. Jordan. The
Bills are gonna
Bills
win it.
have the Bills. I thought they were going to win the Super Bowl based on after what's his face had a heart attack on the field from the vax, and then they said it was some other shit.
Oh yes. Oh,
Heart,
fuck?
heart,
Hold on. Why
and then
can't
they
I
don't even show his
up?
face. They just show him from the back in a hood. It
so
was
bizarre. Like
number
9
3.
minutes, he's dead on the field, and then he's alive.
And they pick him up in a freaking U-Haul box truck. It's not even like an actual ambulance.
Okay, so
Hamlin.
yeah, Damar Hamlin. Thank you. Sorry, I had like
That was crazy. And then you
I-
had people breaking
I
it
cried
down.
my eyes out during that game, by the way, because I'm such a Bills fan. It's insane. My entire life, rain or shine, snow or
You haven't
sleet,
done a
I'm
body
there.
slam onto a collapsible table.
No, because I would really, I picture myself severely injuring myself if I did that. I just don't do it. But I've seen everything from people having sex on tables and breaking tables, people jumping on through fire tables. The Bills Mafia is crazy.
What do you think is the most disagreed upon, like mainstream conspiracy?
Huh.
disagreed.
Like
Disagreed.
that there's probably zero chance, because there's some mainstream conspiracy theories that like people have like, you could tell like it's shifted, like more people believe it than don't. But what's one that will always stay 50-50?
The moon.
I think
Yeah.
the moon landing. I think people that I've noticed, like, because I always say sports is rigged, and there's people who don't believe that. They like think that
Oh,
it's legit.
yeah,
I don't think that
scripted.
people understand how much a couple penalty flags or a couple fouls getting called can influence statistics of a game.
You're
I
right.
just bring up referees from everything from the NBA to baseball to the NFL.
Look at the FIFA
like-
scandal. I mean, I've said this joke before, and I don't know where I heard this, but it's like, imagine having to explain to an alien how Kim K got famous.
I know.
So the
And that-
lawyer of this guy who was really good at football was arrested for killing his wife, but he got off on it because he was so good at football. And there was a lot of other dynamics going on. But anyways, he gets out of prison. The lawyer, one of the guys who got him off on that, he had a daughter. That daughter met a dude named Ray J. And then there they had some history and chemistry. And then there was this video that got leaked. And then now their entire family, it's just...
And by the way, and Ray J just happened to be the person that was running out of a hotel with a jacket over his head when Whitney Houston was killed.
Yeah, that people don't know that
Oh
either.
yeah. Yeah. I haven't heard that name in a long time. Thank you for that good old flashback.
Have you ever thought with like celebrities that these are just stage names, and there's the same people that are like multiple celebrity stage names? Billie Eilish and Lil Xan. Have you guys ever seen that one? Yo,
Holy
look at that.
moly.
Dog,
Oh,
that
Jesus.
looks like the same person to me.
That's weird.
It's very weird.
So has anyone done a spirit box?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Because that's what it sounds like, kind of one of those.
Is there any way to do an online spirit box? I found one. Ask your question for the spirits either out loud or in your mind, then press start and watch as the words selected by the spirit appear on the screen.
Ask your question.
I see.
But I don't, hang on. I heard that, Sammy.
Oh, I didn't say anything.
Oh, I thought somebody whispered. Shut up. You're messing with me.
No, I didn't say anything.
Phoenix, did you do that?
No, it wasn't me, but I heard that.
Somebody didn't just whisper, ask your question back to me.
I didn't say anything.
I said ask the question.
And then somebody whispered it. Am I tripping? I'm tripping right now.
Is this
No.
an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark? Are we gonna have to get the canoe out like on Snick where it's like
God.
Hey, I think tonight was fun. It was a little bit change of pace. There's obviously a little bit of like lull in the Idaho case leading up to the sentencing. This still ties into the general gist of not believing the narrative. Sammy, you rock. Thank you for your time this evening. Phoenix, thanks for popping up on a moment's notice and giving us what you had found. As always, Hive, shout out to you guys. You guys are the best. I will be popping over in the Discord in about 10 or 15 minutes after, again, I let out Lambo. So Thank you all for tuning in. If you're new here, 7 p.m. Central every weeknight. So I will be back on tomorrow evening, and I will see you all there.
Bye, Hive.
Sounds
Cheers, everybody.
good. Bye, guys.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life.